Hi everyone, today I'm here with Wendy Liga. Now he's an iOS developer for Tokopedia and is this year's WWDC Swift Student Challenge winner. For those of you who don't know what the Swift Student Challenge is all about, it's one of Apple's premium events wherein they welcome coders from all over the world to build Swift playgrounds. Now these Swift playgrounds are judged on 3 criteria: technical accomplishment, creativity of ideas, and content of written responses. So you not only have to be thoughtful about what you're making and put in the right tech, but it has to serve a purpose. So hi Wendy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi Shabi. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
All right, then cool. Let's start off. Now, we're really eager to know, when did you first start coding and what was it that sparked your interest?
So my first really kind of experience with coding is when I was like 17. So I remember at that senior high school kind of age, I joined an extracurricular on my school. So like every Saturday we have this extracurricular. So like our school provide dance, art, like and also coding. And at that time, I feel like deciding which field I will go to university. I think it will be a good exercise for me to like at least learn a little bit about coding. So like at the time, I remember at that 17, I got my first coding. I used Pascal. It's a very procedural language. It's very basic language, but like it's really good to get you into this kind of field. So I think maybe what really sparked me into coding itself, I think maybe doing coding, it's kind of solving a problem. So like if you're playing some riddle or like doing some puzzle, and at the end you think really hard, and when you accomplish to solve it, you feel the happiness, the enjoyment, and I think I'm really happy to feel that. And doing coding, I feel like I'm just like playing games, and I through these levels, and it's so complicated, but at the end I can solve it. Yeah, it's make me so enjoy to code.
That's true. And you mentioned how you got into coding because you wanted to serve a purpose and you wanted to solve problems. Now, that's really evident from the apps that you've made up till now. So you've made Deaf Communicator. Now, for those of you who don't know, Deaf Communicator is an app which helps deaf people communicate with others. Then you also built Wanton. Now, Wanton helps solve the entire problem of communication impediment, especially for deaf students and the way they study, and for them to be able to study in normal classrooms. Then another one was Helion. Now, Helion is a very, very interesting app. What that does is it caters to the elderly care sector, which is something that not a lot of us think about, but it serves a lot of purposes that way. So, a lot of apps that you built have always targeted societal issues and decreasing the dependency of various individuals. So, do you feel this form of responsible development, as I like to call it, is something or is a practice that all developers should adopt?
So thank you for like explaining my apps. So like several apps I created, like Dev Communicator and Wanton, trying to solve social issue, like maybe not social issue, but maybe trying to solve a real world problem. So like Dev Communicator and Wanton is both trying to solving the impediment of deaf people to trying to communicate with others, because they need to use sign language, and not all people can use sign language. So like, why not using technology that we have right now to like solve what problem we have right now? So like I'm using on Wanton and Deaf Communicator using speech recognizer. So like deaf people can use the apps and can hear the sounds around them, and using speech synthesizer, so like your phone can sounds up what you type to communicate back. And also Helian is yeah, what you say is like trying to go to elderly and elderly caregiver. So like so that's a group project. So like we have a problem that we want to solve, and we try to search a problem from a real world problem, and we starting the idea from dementia people. So dementia, the people that losing their ability to remember, so they gradually will losing their memory. You know, this kind of people needs more attention from others people, and also like elderly. So like the pain point from them is just like at the time they try to caregiving these people, they also need to put a special attention, and each individual have a different sets of you know, special treatment. So this kind of treatment is not you can apply to all people. So like let's say if and if you're caregiving someone, you also need to you know, make sure yourself is not burnout, it's not stressed out because you're caregiving someone. So we want to provide the ability to so people can, you know, can delegate their caregiving to others. But the thing is, the special treatment, the special maybe the medicine and things like that is so much. So like the information that passed to the other people need to be correct. So like we make Helian to solve that problem. So I believe technology that we have right now is here to solve and make humanity better and not otherwise. That being said, like from like fundamentally technology is like, yeah, like for example, like computer itself, like credit because people want to solve math problem, and it evolved into right now into like become very useful tools. And I think developer for sure, like coders, it's a part of the technology itself. Should take this opportunity to shape the technology itself. I see technology is like a big pile of unfinished pyramid built with small Lego. So like the developer is the one who puts the Lego on top of it, and I think the shape of it and the purpose of that technology will be based on what developer do right now. So like I think developers should have this responsibility and to shape technology to be useful for a better future.
Yeah, I mean, what's the harm in that? The developer is building their skills and people are being benefited. So that's even better.
Yeah.
So your submission for the WWDC Swift Challenge was Tunery. Now, tell us all about that. I mean, the entire journey of winning this, and what made you choose Tunery as an idea?
So this is my second year of submission. So the first one I got rejected, and this year I tried to think the idea is that it should be helpful for people, it should be creative, and I stumbled into Tunery. So Tunery itself is a very simple music composer. So like I want to make something so like people all age can create music easily, but still create a decent music. So the idea is really comes from on early 2000. I remember I have this Nokia phone, not really smartphone, that and on extras menu they have an application called Composer. So that application you just like type one to be do, two to be re, and you just like composing a very simple music. But at that time it's so amazing. And I remember you can compose like I remember I composed pop Indonesia music to be my ringtone, and it's good. I mean like it's a really good start to create a music, and I want to make that the same kind of concept into my submission this year. So so like Swift Student Challenge, or like on other years, what Apple called the WWDC Scholarship, is like a competition that Apple held to people to create a playground. So playground is a features on Xcode. Xcode is an application Apple created for the developer to develop on their platform. So we can they just ask like, make something creative, make something, you know, technologically interesting. And I think the way we and I think lots of people's submission is all about utilizing technology that Apple have to solve a real world problem. There's a lot of like great submission that people create with machine learning, like to determine, like when you write handwriting on something, they create machine learning to like translate that into words on text, or like a very interactive planetarium explanation, like there's using AR to explain Earth, Mars, and etc. So like I think aiming to solve a real world problem, I think, is one that Apple looks on this challenge. Maybe if I share a little bit more, maybe like this challenge is about 10 days. So like from announcement, it's about 10 days, and I spent like the first 2 days to like planning. I have several ideas and mind mapping. Like I think Tunery will be good, and the rest 8 days I just do the research. And the interesting part is that Tunery, like most of the technology I create on Tunery is all new for me. So like all sounds created on Tunery is synthesized by code. There's no like recording like that sounds. So all, and Tunery itself support several music instruments. You can use piano, you can use guitar, you can use bass, and you know, the challenge is how I can create sounds like piano sounds just from code. So like, and it's just 8 days. So like, so I do a little bit of like sound engineering, learning like sample rate, amplitude, frequency. But at the end, I feel like the experience was really amazing, you know, working on like very tight deadline with a new experience that you never think. Like every single day at 8 days that I really you know, every single time I start to resume my work, I'm so excited because when I search these things, I go into new things and I go into new things. So yeah, that's all amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure that was, but it's a rather tight schedule. So tell us this, that if someone makes a Swift playground way before this starts, so before that 10-day period, can they still submit it?
Yep. So there's no like way that Apple can make sure that it's just great. They just code it at this 10 days period. So that's my planning for for like last year, because I got rejected, and I really want to get this opportunity, because if you get this one, you can go to Cupertino, to Apple campus, to attend the event, a 1 week event. You can talk live to the developer itself. You can ask anything. But because the current work situation, we do this online. So this year they call it Swift Student Challenge. So that's my plan last year, because I got rejected. I really want to get it. So I remember I'm planning to start thinking about the idea at January and start to coding to June. But I remember, because we get this sort of pandemic, I think like Apple will cancel the event. They will be doing online. So I'm not doing it. And I just surprised, because at early June they announced that they will do this challenge, and I think nothing to lose. I just do it, and I do it 10 days. But I think the experience doing that in 10 days was I think it's so good. I think if you do it like from like January, I think the feeling is not the same. I think you're losing the purpose of the challenge itself.
You're right. That's very true. So for people who are aspiring to take part in this or who want to become iOS developers and are completely new to this entire industry, what advice or resources would you have for them to start off?
So I think I think that I really want to emphasize to like people who want to start coding, not just iOS, but like anything. It's just like the desire to learn. I think technology itself, if you like see like Apple every single year releasing new iOS version, releasing new feature that developer should need to learn, need to adapt. If the developer is lacking that desire to learn, it's kind of hard to still go into the still continue this industry, because then you will obsolete really fast, because like this year they release new thing, you not follow it, you not learn it, and next year they kind of force it that you need to use this technology. So like you need to have the desire, you need to have the mentality to learn, and not just outside of like just iOS. The technology itself, the coding itself is just evolving every single day. People create new stuff, create new paradigm to make it better, to make it faster, to make it efficient, and want it or not, you need to follow it. If you not follow it, you will obsolete really fast. So maybe like the first step I say is just like, if you have curiosity, really good, a high curiosity, that really help to learn new things. After that, I think doing tutorial was the next step, the right step. I think there's a lot of free stuff out there. There's a lot of resources out there online, or like premium one. You can start doing several tutorials. It's really help, especially if you're really new to this field. It really get a great fundamental for you to like go to next step. After that, after doing tutorial, maybe I can suggest to like start writing everything. I think, and what I'm doing is just like writing, making apps. It's like thinking about a simple app that you can, you think that, oh, I think I can create it, or just like a to-do app, or like notes app, a simple app, calculator apps, and just write it. So you can get a concept about how you can write like more complex apps, more, and do it with repetition. It really helps. And I realized that when I first time start this, it really hard, like to things like what I need to type next. It's really hard because you're not used to it. But that's the point of repetition. If you do it every single day, maybe 1 hour a day, that will be really help. So like if you don't have like any idea to make, you don't need to make apps to like and store and publish it to App Store. Just make apps that just for your playground. Just like make it, write it, just like to try out things, to make things better. If you don't have like any idea, you can just like looking apps that already there, then just like try to duplicate it, try to like how they can create this section, how they can create this view, and exercise from that. And I think the last things that I do, and because that the desire to learn, is the following websites and Twitter, resources that provide you with the new information about the, maybe let's say iOS, following iOS news, following new, maybe like artist developer in iOS, maybe they sometimes like, oh, they researching these things and they found out that oh, you can't do this, you need to do this, it's most efficient, something like that. that will be a very precious resource, to keep up with the new technology itself.
Yeah, those were some really great suggestions. Also, you know how you just mentioned that you started your entire coding journey with the fact that you wanted to solve problems. And you went on to do that with all your projects and in the WWDC submission as well. So if I had to ask you that one thing or that one superpower that you wish to have that could change the world for the better, what would it be?
Um, okay, so maybe if I had that superpower, I think I want I want the ability to change everyone so they can understand each other better in terms of like understand human to human. I think we currently live in the world that's so connected but like yet so disconnected at the same time. There's so much hate, there's so much fake news, there's so much people look other people by their skins, by their culture, by their religion, by their nationality. But I think the way we should see each other is not about that, but it's about the human itself. So like if people can like understand each other better, I think we can make a better world, yeah, for future.
Hey, I wish you get that ability in the future because that's what we all need desperately. All right,
Yeah.
end of this interview. Wendy, all the resources that you've just talked about, we're going to add them in the description so that everyone can get access to them. And we'll also
Sure.
add your YouTube video that you've uploaded showing your project so that we can all
Sure.
start playing with your app very soon. Thank you so much for being here today and for your time. I had a really, really good time talking to you.